Good day, my friends. We have perhaps two of the biggest stories that I have ever come across that I think you must know. Actually, make this three. If you are at all interested in what's happening regarding the papacy, the Pope, by the way, remember, why is this important? This is the oldest, the biggest, the most famous, the most powerful, non-hereditary monarchy, theocracy in world history. If you think the Vatican doesn't apply, it is as New World Order and what do you want to call it? Illuminati? I don't care. Not Catholicism, the Vatican. Not Catholic Church, Catholic liturgy, the Eucharist, the Vatican. This isn't Catholic bashing. Focus on this. If you think you know anything about the Jesuits and the Black Pope and all of this nonsense, this is so fascinating. There's a brand new video I did yesterday with Eric Thaddeus Walters. If you have not seen this, it's part 2 to our series. As we speak, Wednesday, the conclave may be trying to find a new pope regarding a pope that wasn't the Pope. Bergoglio, Francis, Ratzinger, when he got the word that they were thinking of offing him, he did something which was so brilliant. Now they're saying, wow. So we can go through this, but very quickly, there were two parts of the Pope. The munus and the not the magisterium, but there is the part where you can say, I am the Pope. And the other part is, I can do Pope things. I can do Pope activities. Two parts. I am the Pope, and I'm able to do. It's almost like being a policeman, but having restricted duty. You know, you have to turn your gun in, but you're still a policeman, but you're not. All right. So what the Pope did was what Ratzinger, what Benedict did was he said, I'm still the Pope. And they said, okay. They didn't listen to what he said. He said, I'm still the Pope. I'm not abdicating. I'm not stepping down. If there are more than 125 cardinals in the room, it's void ab initio. It is the most fascinating. So watch that. Today, we're also going to be talking about something which is critical, and this is two things. I just did 2 videos that will drop. One, in fact, you might already have, involving the Met Gala, which is tonight, the first Monday in May. Satanic Illuminati. I'm using all the words you love. This is it, baby. And also a settlement regarding Ashley Babbitt. That's coming up later. Subscribe to LionelNation. Be a LionelNation member. You get the videos first. You subscribe. You support what we're doing. And that's it. I want to remind you of this right now. Prepare with Lionel. The preeminent, the best, the only, the most critical, I guess you'd call it, emergency food, disaster preparation. Now they have a 3-month emergency food kit. Brand new deal, $200 off. Do you hear what I am saying? $200 off. I'm going to say this to you. If you think this is about just MREs and having some banana chips handy, oh, no. This is bigger than anything you can imagine. In fact, I want to add something right here, which is critical. And let me add this little bit of information. There we go. There we go. Secure your 3-month emergency food kit. $200 off. I know you're smart. When I first mentioned these great folks, when I first mentioned them, somebody came out of nowhere and said, I'll never forget this. I have a fishing pole. I said, what is that? And I got a brand new key. What are you gonna do? Breaking the Melanie songs? What are you talking about? And it's this thing where people constantly fight and challenge you. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It's like, what are you suggesting? Well, you have a fishing pole? Well, I've got a dehydrator. You think you can handle 30 days of some disaster weather with a fishing pole? This is what I deal with all the time. It's incredible. I've never seen it. So listen to me. If you love your family and you love your life, I'm telling you right now, preparewithlionel.com, right this moment, go, trust me, okay? Do what I'm saying. Now, let me start with something. There she is. Cut Up says, why can't we see comments on the Gala vid? Let me see what's happening. Why? I just put it up? Maybe it just dropped. Let me see this now. That's a very good question. Let me see. Let me see. I like that thorough explication. I want to see. Because the comments are the best part. The comments are just groovy. Let me see. The comments are... Let me see. I've got 6 comments. Or I don't know. I've got comments there. It just dropped now. So we'll give it a look. I'll check it out. But thank you for that. But here's the question. You know and I know there are these people. Thank you, Lisa. She just watched it. I made 3 comments. Poof. By the way, notifications not working. Boy, already it's like, no, this is a lot of it's good. I'm going to check into this. Lisa, did you comment on it? Did anybody comment? When you say poof, I don't know what that means. Maybe they didn't let you do it. I don't know. I have the same information, so I'll check this out. Notifications not working. I don't know about that. You got to make sure also, and I'm glad you're bringing this up, make sure you are still subscribed to Lionel Nation. You will be unsubscribed for reasons I will never know. That's number 1. Number 2, make sure you hit that little bell, that little notification to let you know that you are see, this is weird. We'll check into this. I put it up early this morning, so we'll look into this. But make sure everybody is subscribed, okay? Make sure. This morning, first comment did not show, just saying. This comment did not show on what? Are there 3 comments, but it says 1 comment in your questions below? I don't know. Now, by the way, this is fascinating, and I love this, and I appreciate this immensely, so we will look into this. Tremendously. But right now, someone somewhere is listening, and they're saying, I don't know about these comments. I don't know what they're talking about. So we will do this, refresh, and I appreciate this. But I want to move on. And thank you for this. I will look into this immediately. But just so that you know, in terms of continuity, just for terms of continuity, nobody is going to be listening to this show this morning if we spend 10 minutes on why you haven't read comments. I'm not saying it's not important, but understand something. If I watched Judge Napolitano and he spent 10 minutes on why didn't you get comments, I would say, I'm out of here. You understand that, right? This is important. This is critical. But this is the kiss of death when it comes to people watching this. I'm just saying it's important, but nobody's going to be watching this. Nobody's going to care and say, what is this comment? I don't even know who this guy is. He has this globalist shaking, and all we're talking about are comments. Okay, so again, this is my balance. So I will get to that. And I promise you immediately we will get to that. Very, very important, but we want to draw new people in and entice them people who are not a member of the conspiratorium. Okay? Now let's begin with something. I know that many of you have always alluded to the fact that you believe in something called Satanism, Illuminati, whatever it is, and nobody can really nail it. The issue is not whether there is a Satan. That's not the issue. The issue is, by the way, cut up, nobody's messing me up. I thank you for this. I always have to think, though, we're always trying to pull people. Just please, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to. I have to deal with more people with more. You can't imagine this. That's why AM radio is so easy. You fit the mic, you go like that, and that's it. Anyway, not that they're a complement with an EM versus an IM. I don't know whether there is a devil or Satan. Personally, I don't believe that there is a devil. I got problems with what you would call God. I'm not, I don't even think about it. What I do care about is if somebody believes in something. What do I mean? Whenever we talk about jihadists, by the way, jihadist is not the right word, but anyway, whenever there were these Arabic Muslim terrorist types, we didn't spend our time asking whether Islam was correct, whether there is an Allah. No. We looked at people who nonetheless use this as a reading, as a basis for this. I don't care if there is a Black Lives Matter riot. I don't care whether there is racism in the world, as they say. I care about the rioting. You see what I'm saying? I don't care what your faith is, what you think. That doesn't matter. It's the same way I tell you about when somebody has a sexual predilection for something. I don't care unless it manifests itself. The world pedophiles and all that. I really don't care what people think. Mrs. L said the best one time. She said, I don't care if you have a fantasy about cannibalism. I don't care. It's what you do. You want to believe in miracles? Great. Knock yourself out. Nobody's challenging that. I want you to believe anything you want. Anything. But if your belief in miracles makes you think that somehow you're able to steal beauty aids from a CVS, no. Then I want to challenge you and not your belief in miracles. There are people who fancy themselves sometimes in the ceremony. Have you ever been a member? I'm a member of a fraternity. Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Sam Elliott, President McKinley, Lloyd Bridges, I think David Spade. There's a slew of folks. Robert Young, Marcus Welby, all these famous essayists. And it has the trappings of, vestments and robes and light, of candles and this and that and mystics and handshakes and all that stuff. And then we say, that's great. And then we go and we drink beer or whatever. But that's it. But there's something about it. We never ever, it's like, I haven't been to, let's say when you're made, like the mob has it kind of straightened out. Used to have like a sunrise. It was really something. I mean, it was neat. And it made people feel like, oh, okay. But believe me, and you gotta take my word for it, we didn't do anything, good, bad, or indifferent. We drank a lot of beer. That's what we did. So sometimes there are people into symbolism. We love symbols. We love symbols. A baptism is a symbol. It's a symbolic. It's a sacrament, but it's a symbol. This symbol. We love water and vestments and the cross and okay, fine. The Pope, the papacy, symbols. What you do with a symbol, it's a different story. But I want you to understand something flat out and right off the bat. And this is the most important thing you can possibly ever, ever, ever understand. And that is simply this. And this is critical. You must recognize the fact that there are some evil people in the world that are really scary. The Met Gala, which is the first Monday in May. This is Anna Wintour. You can look at this like most people say, oh, that doesn't matter. I don't care about that. It's funny, people care about the wrong things. This isn't just some fashion event. This is modern day evil aristocracy flexing its power in the open. And what they call art and fashion, ostensibly that's the cover, is often little more than a coded ritual drenched in symbolism. You probably don't know. I'm sure, maybe you do know this. In growing up in Tampa, there is a place, kind of in West Tampa, and there are other places too. And we had them here called the Botanica. This is where Santeria. We had one down the street. And they believe in all of this stuff. So many people I knew were they really believed in Santeria. And a Santero is like this priest. And what they would do is, it was kind of voodoo-ish, but not really. It came from Africa. And in the Caribbean, and Cuba in particular, because Cubans had a huge, a black African population. A lot of Cubans are black. And Castro was racist as hell. Believe me, Mr. Communist. So what they would do was they would use the Catholic Church to cover for Santeria. So St. Anthony, for example, one was Elegua, which I think was St. Anthony. They would use it as a cover. So you would say, so if somebody broke in and go, what are you doing? Oh, we're praying to the saint. Yeah, it wasn't St. Anthony. It was Elegua, the little boy. And I can tell. I remember one time I said, if you see the railroad spike, coconut head, money, toys, and a roll of money with a rubber band, and you spray rum on it and all this stuff. I went time look at it, and like, wow, they knew it. Well, that's kind of what Vogue does, what Anna Wintour does, what other does. The cover is fashion. The cover is that. Now, not everybody knows what's going on. Not everybody is a part of it. But this is symbolism. Let me break it down for you, okay? What it really is. The Met Gala is a surreal masquerade ball for the elite. Now, elite doesn't mean good or you want them to be the elite. The elite is what we use, I think, disparagingly. And it's wrapped in haute or hot. It's haute couture and secrecy, like an Eyes Wide Shut, sequel directed by Vogue. That is exactly what's going on. And my friend who used to know more about this, he is no longer with us because he's no longer with us. He's dead, but he knew he was in the kind of like the restaurant catering. He always got into this stuff. And he says, you wouldn't believe what you see. You would not believe what you see. You cannot believe what's there, and you cannot believe what is available, and you cannot believe how these people live. You can't believe what they believe in. And one of the reasons why they love to do it, let me see if I can explain this to you. If you are a half-assed, illiterate, uneducated rapper, artist, actor, who all of a sudden just loves the trappings of, stardom, whether it's wearing this Balenciaga outfit, this tattoo, this whatever, they will do it. Pilgrim says the elite define who's in the club. It's not the money. Oh, absolutely correct. There are people who are very powerful in this. And by the way, this goes back everything from Davos to Bilderberg to whatever it is. Henry Kissinger was one of the most powerful people in the world. He wasn't a billionaire. Didn't want to be. You get enough. It's not about money. You can't buy these people off. So the Met Gala tonight is when glamour meets occult symbolism. Now, the occult they love. They don't even know what it is. It's just kind of fun. It's like when we were in college and we're putting on robes and we're in a fraternity. It's like, okay, it's kind of neat. But we didn't do anything evil. You got to take my word for it. Believe me, we didn't do anything but drink beer. Now, every first Monday in May, the red carpet rolls out, not just for the celebs, but for the elites, the global elites. And this is what Trump is targeting. He ain't there. You notice that? Melania ain't there. This is not what you think it is, especially after Vogue. In fact, the best thing for Vogue was to not put her on the cover. That's the official program for, you can call it Illuminati, whatever word works for you, okay? But now the elites are tech billionaires, fashion royalty, because remember, the people who represent the big shots today are a different story. Cut Up Chatter says, I cannot get my comments. I'm just kidding. Says, the mask of Red Death escaped and is on public display. Controlling that you can't avoid them is their fetish. Meet the Greek goddess vulgarity. Ooh, I like that. Very nice. Very nicely worded and concocted. Remember the old days, Mrs. L and I one time were in Newport. The most overrated joint, the jazz festival is good, but, or whatever the festival was. It's just, Pilgrim's friend, by the way, who's a 33rd Mason, won't tell anything. Well, again, I know nothing about the Masons, but they, again, they're part of it. People love exclusivity. You don't understand something. I live in New York. Some people are into the clubs. Some people are into, where do you live? Oh, I'm in Westchester. Anything? Oh, Yonkers? No, well, no. To them, I don't know. I mean, Rye. I mean, they love this thing. Where they're from, what they drive, it's like me with my Yugo. I understand. I'm an elitist in that respect. But this is a bit of a different story here. I want you to understand what's happening. You see, when we were in, I was telling you, we were in Newport. Jay Leno's got a house there. You cannot believe what this thing is. You just can't believe it. It looks like a castle. But those people, the names, the waspy types, they couldn't hold a candle to today's billionaires, tech billionaires. Nothing. There are billionaires in Silicon Valley and others. Sam Altman probably is the Carnegie, is the Vanderbilt, the Cornelius Vanderbilt. They were into railroads and mines, but this is different. And they don't want to go into this gilded nonsense. Today's aristocracy is a different story, but they still love the fact that they are separate from you. See, this just isn't about designers and models. It's about power, real power. Power is what we crave. Power. Power gets you anything. Money may get you power. May. There are people who are very rich with no power. None. There are people who are, they're important. Now, I would venture to say that Jan Wenner, when he was at the height of Rolling Stone, was one of the most powerful people, can control culture. Let me control culture. You can have tech, whatever you want. I don't care. Let me control culture. Let me control the narrative. See, the power that I want is the kind that moves markets and shapes the narrative. And yes, possibly conducts rituals behind closed doors. If I want to do it, I'll give them whatever they want. I want to, remember, if I am the devil, if I am evil, I want to take all of your natural tendencies, the things that you have, and I want to use them against you. Let's not kid ourselves. You got to look past the glitter, and you'll see it. You'll see what's going on. Remember, one of the reasons why it's far more fun to be evil. It's fun. If you're going to be a professional wrestler, be a heel. That's where the money is, not the baby face, the heel. And I would never use my genius for evil, but I would love to do a movie or something where I would explain to people, I'm the devil. Let me tell you what I'm doing. First of all, I want to take what you believe in and I want to mock it constantly. I want to take your crosses, invert them. I want to have pyramid motifs and all-seeing eyes. You love that stuff because your love of semiotics and symbology in particular are like nobody else's. Checkerboard floors and veils and horns and crowns. This is I will give you a visual lexicon of the occult. I'll give you every symbol you want because I want you to feel you're a part of this. I will accept you. I will break, like the Masons, I will break your level. Scientology does it into different gradations of rank and status within it, ensuring you'll stay around in order to get the rank. If everybody's a member from the beginning, this ain't like the AAA club. I want you to stay. So how do I get you to stay? By giving you ranks, order, okay? These people say, oh, this is just fashion. Sure, right. As a joke says, yeah, it's fashion. It's just fashion. And Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation, right? Is that it? The same people say that? Now, the Met Gala is less about art and more, and this is important, who's allowed? Who are the cool kids? Everybody, I live in New York. Everybody wants to be cool. Everybody. I have a front row seat. You have no idea. For me, this is like nothing I have ever seen. Okay? Cut Up Chatter says this. Screw tape letters. C.S. Lewis, distraction is king. She writes in these wonderful, not coded, but sometimes these rather fascinating Byzantine reference platforms, which I love, and I thank that. There was a line from the Mod Squad years ago where somebody said, bad scene, Mama swung pretty good. My friend and I've known for over 50 years, we always say that bad scene, Mama swung pretty good. We always use these, people love codes. People love codes. See, who's allowed at the table? What country club are you a member of? What club? Clubs used to really be here. The Metropolitan. Next to the Metropolitan, across the street, is the Harmony Club. This was normally Jews. And then there was this club, and then that club, and then I one time went to my friend who since passed away. He was the greatest guy in the world. He was like a Wall Streeter, blue blood, but loved him. And we would have lunch at this little place. This dining room was like, and I remember one guy, this was a billionaire. This one guy was a sugar. I said, you know what? He goes, yep. See, billionaires you haven't lived until you see the power these people have because of their money. They can do whatever they want. People will kiss their ass like you've never seen anything like it. You've never seen anything. You can do anything because you're a billionaire. No, politics doesn't have it. You see, you've got to be raised in this to understand this. That's why you're going to have like the Jasmine Crockett's and the AOCs. They're not a member of this at all. Those are, and I say this not in the racial sense, those are tokens. They will never be allowed in the club at all. They will feed you a line of crap, but they're not. And by the way, it's not because they're black. White people too. This is not something, it used to be in the old days where you went to school. Not anymore. Not anymore. It's a different story. But if you're in deep. And you get a seat at the elite's table. The symbolic Last Supper. You know, no ticket sales. No access. By the way, tomorrow night at the Cutting Room, we're going to be at a benefit for Lynn's Warriors. No occult there, no ceremony. It is a benefit for her incredible efforts. You can go to her website at lynswarriors.org. You can always contribute to the move. You can also go to her X or Twitter account at Lynn's Warriors, LYNNS_warriors. That's as occult as we go. But this thing tonight, no access for average Americans. No. And not even people, You've got to be, put it this way, there's a lot of rich people who say, I don't want to be part of this. They see right through this. This is the chosen one. This is the hand-picked. This is a cult. This is a different story. And they love to do it in the open. They love it, okay? Now, is this, Eyes Wide Shut was the template. Eyes Wide Shut was, I don't know how much of what, how do I say this? I'm not sure exactly how Kubrick, if he knew what he was doing, but this was so important. See, Kubrick's final film, Eyes Wide Shut, depicted this kind of a hidden world of secret societies, masked rituals, masks, COVID, masks, the black and white ball at the plaza. The last time we saw anything like this in terms of society. We don't have society anymore. I can give you names, but the ladies who lunch and Babe Paley and the Swans and all that, forget it. The socialites. I mean, there are people still who love to pretend. Oh, look, we're in Palm Beach. Yeah, that's great. And they sit around and they're good people, and they do things that are philanthropic, which are wonderful, but that's not like they used to be. This is a different story. This isn't about the Central Park Conservancy. This is different. The powerful few who operate above the law. Does this sound familiar? See, in 1999 was the film, but he died mysteriously just days after showing the final cut to Warner Brothers. Is this a coincidence? What do we always say here at the Conspiratorium? There's no such thing as coincidences. Some say yes. But if the Met Gala was a real-life scene from that film, would you be surprised? They walk in with masks. They leave more masked than ever, politically, spiritually. The stuff that goes on in the back, the hookups, the parties, the recruits, like you can't believe. Cut Up Chatter says, Gloria Naylor, Linden Hills. The kids never follow instructions. Handed down from the ancestor wizards. The result is weak magic and arrogant failure. I have no idea what that means, but you have inspired my research, and I thank you. Thank you for this. Remember, children. Purity of spirit. Untainted. Pure, 100% unblemished spiritually, psychologically. Oh, this goes back. That and the virgin, the whole virginal thing. So, just like in the film, this party really isn't about pleasure. It's about allegiance. And again, they're letting you know who's in the fold. And these people, these idiots, these morons on CNN and local news, they just sit back with their clicking. Oh, there's so-and-so. Oh, who is that? Robert Downey Jr.? I'm just making a name. What? Oh, is that George Clooney? George Clooney sold his soul. You know that Amal Clooney? You know that. I mean, seriously, do I have to tell you the truth behind that? Can you not see what that's about? Do you not see what's... Do I have to... Do you... We know what's going on here. These aren't parties. These are initiations. These are bonding ceremonies for the globalist class. And don't forget, symbolism is how the elite communicate with each other. It's weird. And the rest of us. See, they want you to know but not understand. They want you to know but not understand. The costume, the themes, the rituals, these aren't accidental. They're statements. Remember, I don't care whether there is a devil. It doesn't matter to me at all. All I know is this is more than just the devil. It's not a coven per se. Now, why the Met Gala matters is more than you think. It's easy to dismiss it as a harmless evening of celebrity, nonsense. Right? I understand. But that's what they want you to think. It's like a magician who distracts you with one hand while the other one's picking your pockets, or he's picking your pocket. or maybe signs climate treaties or censors speech or funds, fact checkers. Remember something. And if you remember one thing that I'm telling you, the globalists are shaking. Trump destroys this. Trump affects everything. Trump is the virus that rewires everything. You see, the themes themselves often lean kind of religious or mythical or straight up Luciferian. Remember this. One of the themes, and the themes are heavenly bodies, fashion, and the Catholic imagination. Remember that? This was a theme. They used sacred symbols for designer clout. Madonna in a bishop's robe. Remember that? Come on. You couldn't dream up more obvious and blatant mockery. And it's a flex. It's a message. We're above your gods. We mock you. Meanwhile, poor average Americans are working their butts off, worrying about gas prices, open borders, and these folks are walking around, parading around in custom Balenciaga robes and, diamond-studded devil horns. What kind of priorities are these people? They do this, but remember, it's done in front of you. This is cultural warfare, one, red carpet at a time. Now, I don't know how long they're going to last. I really don't. Anna Wintour was handed, I will bet, I would not be surprised if it turns out that a lot of this USAID money kind of stuff, USA, may have helped her out because she is, music, culture, fashion, it's all part of a picture. And remember, there are people right now who are going to say, but I don't care. Anybody who tells me I don't care is not in my group. You can go wait outside. I'm not asking whether you care about something. When Hitler made his statements about, after the Treaty of Versailles, I don't care what Hitler said. Really? And I'm throwing Hitler. I'm trying to do something obvious. There are people who they bathe themselves in their ignorance. I'm telling you, pay attention to what's going on in the Vatican. This is as Harry Potter and Knights of the Round Table and medieval as you can get. And it's happening right here. Benedict said there hasn't been an abdication of force for 1,000 years. And they said, no, there was one guy in 500 or whatever. And they said, no. Benedict Ratzinger said, look again. That wasn't what I'm talking about. It was the one prior to that. And what was his name? Benedict. I mean, this is the wildest stuff. But yet when I tell people that, I don't care. They love this. They steep themselves in this. They're so proud. I don't care. Or I don't know. I don't care why. The other day, we had to pick up something, went into a liquor store. Mrs. L had to get something for him, whatever. So we got a couple of bottles of whatever. And we were with somebody who has never been in a liquor store. And I think she was horrified by this horror. And as I'm standing there with our bottles of wine or whatever it was, this one guy's got 3 or 4 miniatures. He's sticking them in his pocket. Other people buying. These were drinkers. These weren't people buying, I got a party. Remember the Coors party ball? The point that I'm saying, as I turned to our friend who was a teetotaler, I said, you see what this is? There is a group of people where alcohol is an underlying part of their daily ceremony. They're not alcoholics necessarily, but alcohol is their ritual. And these stores provide this because you got to buy in bulk all the time. The stuff that they want, you can't get in the store. You can't get at a gas station. I can get some beer, but not like this. This guy was loaded. Because remember, alcoholism is all about deception. You have to be a liar to be an alcoholic. Are you drinking? No. Me? No. Is that alcohol I smell? No. When was the last time you had to? It's always a lie. I did the whole thing on that. It's like a cult in and of itself. So what I was trying to explain was to our friend, I said, you don't have to understand this, but know this goes on at various places. Do you know how many not massage, but nail places are fronts for human trafficking? You have any idea? And nobody's looking for them. Nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody. Remember when Robert Kraft was accused of, and I think that was dismissed, but of all the, this guy could have anything, like a nail. Do you want to know what's going on, or do you want to know what comports with your version of what goes on? See, the Met Gala, it also reflects something deeper. You see, the globalist capture of American culture, not your culture. Remember, we're not talking about you. We're not talking about me. I don't care. I know what they're doing. It's not about American traditions or values. Right? It's about pushing boundaries and subverting, norms and signaling some kind of weird order to a new world order. A woke, borderless, morally inverted new world. And look who's not invited. Traditionalists, faith-based leaders, working class heroes, veterans. Nope. This party ain't for those who built this country or who made this country great again. It's for those who are building something else, something darker. And if you think I'm exaggerating, you're not paying attention. Because remember, there are other people who say, what you're doing is you're scaring me. And when you scare me, I will dismiss what you're saying as being silly or stupid because you're scaring me. I want to scare you. I want to scare you. When you tell somebody, I wouldn't smoke cigarettes if I were you. Why? Well, better hope you get COPD and not a big soft tissue neoplasm. You don't want that. You don't want cancer. You don't want esophageal cancer. You don't want that. You're scaring me. I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, but you're scaring me. I'm interrupting your pleasure. I'm giving you the truth here. I'm telling you your pleasure. There was a time in this country right before AIDS when sex was so out of this world. Many admittedly gay, no worry about pregnancy, no worry about really any of that stuff because it was a different form. And then by virtue of this weird, terrible circumstances, AIDS came in and said, that's enough. You're scaring me. That's enough. People were saying at the time, they told people, bathhouses, you better stop this. You're just scaring us. You're just homophobic. No, this is real. See, when I talk to you about things like, prepare with Lionel or food, or people think I'm just, I'm not kidding you. Because we love to dismiss things that scare us. And we'll just talk our way out of it. I want you to notice also how the media fawn over this. See, they're telling you it's empowering, it's inspiring, it's revolutionary. But they'll never question who funds it. You see, this is my problem. And I have a very difficult problem, especially on ABC, because I don't want people to think I'm talking about them. But I come on and I'm from another planet. See, I'm from your school. And I'm introducing a lot of concepts to people who've never thought about this in their life. Cut Up Chatter says, interview with a vampire. Anne Rice, the old vampire kills the girl on a vaudeville stage before an entire audience. They loved how realistic it was. Yes. You see, it's funny you say that. When I tell you about Santeria, I had a friend whose wife was really into this. Let me give you an example of something. She was really into it, and she hired a santero from Miami to come to Tampa at the time to do this. And in my friend's garage, they took The first time I saw this, it was like a shower curtain. You know how they use shower curtains and plastic and all these murder film? And they sacrificed a pigeon. And I said, does it matter what? And it goes, not really. I mean, you could do other things. The sacrifice doesn't matter if it's a dog or a cat or a duck or a pigeon. It doesn't matter. It's a life whose energy you're taking for yourself. And the blood's a sign of exsanguination. And this is going on now. What do you think the Eucharist is? The body and blood? We are into symbology and semiotics. And those people, I guarantee you, there's a show, these wonderful things like, good morning, New York. Hi, we've got Cardinal Dolan on. Cardinal, are you going to be at the conclave? Yes, I am. It's a wonderful thing. Yes. You will never say, excuse me, Cardinal, what's this St. Gallen Mafia? What? He'll get up and he'll leave. I'm not going to talk about that. Oh, who are you? And you know what I found out? Listen to me. Are you listening? Are you listening? Good. I have this thought experiment that I fancy myself in all the time. And I love this. I imagine I'm talking to kids. Okay? Not kids, but like at a high school or something. And I'm going to tell them, these are things that I found out. And one thing I will find out is you will not believe the number of people who can be told something specifically, and they will not pay attention to it or care, even though you're telling them the truth. Pilgrim says, don't Catholics believe in transmogrification? No, not transmogrification, transubstantiation. But it's the same idea, where the bread and the wine, the host, literally, there's that word, literally become the blood and body of Christ. Transubstantiation. Oh, absolutely. That's the whole purpose of it. It's not just symbology. It means something. But you'd be surprised how many people know this. I can tell you things. I can tell people about 9/11, and they will act aghast. And I will say, okay, look at this. In this, let's say I've got you in one room, this big room. And I can say, come here for a minute. I say, excuse me, all of you know about whatever it is. And your hands will go up and say, see? How did I not know this? I don't know. There's no test to find out how and why people know things. You see, the media will never ask who promotes it, why the same imagery keeps popping up in elite circles, from Davos to Hollywood. They're in on it to an extent, but to the one people here, they consider this to be crazy if you talk about it. And look no further than any kind of discussion, the real depth of what's happening regarding the Middle East. And I'm not even going to touch Judaism or Zionism or whatever. Never. That is, stay away from that one. Just stay away from it. You're not going to win. You're making you're just going to lose. You're going to make enemies. And you're not going to solve anything. And nobody cares about it. Nobody cares about it. Pick the hill you want to die on. But the Met Gala tonight isn't the end of the world, but it's a symptom of something even sicker. Let me give you an example of something. This will blow your mind. I mentioned this in today's. Let me see how we're doing with that one. Let me see. On the piece so far, we have. Yep, I'm getting comments on the Met Gala. Yeah, that's coming. That's good. The Ashley Babbitt one's coming later too. And also, you've got to see, let me tell you right now, this is the one, Eric Thaddeus Walters. He's a brilliant young man. Very serious in his affect, in his mien. That's the one right here. But let me give you a couple of them. Let me give you something so that you know what I'm talking about, okay? Because remember, it's in front of you. They hide in plain sight. Sleight of hand is they're doing this right in front of you. Let me give you an example of something. A year-by-year breakdown of the Gala and the theme since 2015 exposes really nothing more than the occult, esoteric, and elite, undercurrents, hidden, again, in plain sight. Hidden in plain sight. This isn't fashion. This isn't fashion. This is ritualized performative theater for the New World Order, okay? Let's look at 2015. 2015. What was the name of it? China Through the Looking Glass. That was the theme. Any problem with that? What was the occult undertone with that one? Oh, it's simple. Illusion, duality, Oriental mysticism. See, what it looked like was an homage to Chinese fashion. What it was a plunge into mirror worlds and ancient symbolism. Looking glass is a code for inversion and deception and alternate realities. Think Alice in Wonderland meets MK Ultra, okay? And this theme was about control through illusion. Like someone once said, exoticizing the East while echoing the esoteric idea that nothing is what it seems. That's what it's about. It's illusion and deception, okay? 2016, Manus ex machina, the fashion in an age of technology. That's what it was called. Fashion in an age of technology. Quick, what do you think the occult undertone was at? What do you think? Remember the overtones, undertones, the just liminal kind of reference. What do you think it is? Anybody? Anybody? Transhumanism. A great word I heard the other day, techno-Gnosticism. I love that. Post-human futures. Elon Musk types, though not Elon per se, but Elon Musk types loved this one. Celebrities dressed like cyborgs and android, priestesses, not human. AI, baby. Cut Up says, hidden was when they threw galas down in city sewers in the 20s. There you go. But not anymore. And thank you, Cut Up. Not anymore. They're doing it right in front of you. And your Good Morning show will say, isn't this great? Hey, isn't that Lady Gaga? And isn't it? Do I have to go back to spirit cooking? Do I have to bring that one up to you? What do you think that was about? You think that was by accident? Abramovich? They love doing it right in front of you. And then they say, oh, come on. This transhumanism display, this was the elite nodding toward merging man and machine. Alex Jones has been talking about this forever. First with man and animal versus chimeras, and then man and human. To not necessarily destroy the human, but merge into something better. Listen to Roy Kurzweil talk about how we'll be able to plug into have a portal here. And Ben, what's his name? Ben, about you can snap into your head some little portal that will allow you instant access to all bodies of knowledge. They want to destroy the human. What is it that makes a human? The soul. They want you to be an animal. See, this is about this synthetic future, this conversion. Predictive programming meets haute couture, a flashy kind of party or celebration of the technocratic age, worshiping at the god of AI. Remember what I'm telling you. The only thing that keeps me up, so to speak, is the idea of AI. Mr. Rell, these elites are pretty open about their allegiance. I have a bigger problem with prosperity preachers, mega millionaires, con men. A bigger problem? I think the latter that you speak, those are the least of the problems, because at least they're telling you what they want. I don't know who's worse, but I certainly understand your I understand what you're saying. In 2017, this was this Rei Kawakubo / Comme des Garçons. It's beyond my realm. That's not some NWA tag team, but it was called The Art of the In-Between. What does that tell you? What does that mean? The art of the in-between. Do I have to spell that one out to you? Liminal space, don't forget liminal, subliminal. Liminal is like the range, the ambit. Gender erasure, the fragmentation of identity. In between is an occult phrase. Neither here nor there. Not male, not female. Not alive, not dead. That year glorified ambiguity, which is a core concept in Luciferian and Gnostic teaching. They want to dismantle and destroy the binary. It's not just political, but it's metaphysical warfare. Identity is broken down to be kind of reconstructed and rebuilt in their image. This explains why there is a push for non-binary and transgender. The basis of this, again, irrespective of whether you believe in the devil, I don't care. I don't care. It's what people are doing that I find interesting. 2018, heavenly bodies. Okay, here we go. A little bit more obvious. Fashion and the Catholic imagination. They didn't even care about this. What was the occult? What was the undertone of that one? The desecration of sacred symbols, mockery of Christianity. Who did that classically? The devil. Look at every, devil's advocate or, angel heart or Lucifer. They always mocked, always laughed at you. It's one of the themes from The Exorcist. One of the most blatantly esoteric galas ever. Rihanna was the Pope. Remember that one? Crosses turned into accessories, sacred iconography, made into runway props. It wasn't just sacrilege. It was like a power move. It was this all Luciferian fashion, dripping in blasphemy. They weren't honoring religion. They were owning it, turning it upside down, and mocking it and destroying it. This is what it's about. A couple more, which is interesting. 2019, camp. Notes on fashion. That seems kind of camp. What is camp? What does that mean? Not camp like in summer camp, but camp as in campy. Exaggeration, deception, the masks, the inversion of truth. Let me get this right now. Listen to this camp definition. Let's look at this. Always look, camp definition. And if you're ChatGPT or whatever you're using, camp means something else. Camp means verb. Deliberately exaggerated and theatrical in style. Extravagantly flamboyant or affected. Deliberately exaggerated and theatrical behavior. Oftentimes, as you can imagine, associated with what people would say gay or gay men or what have you. M.R.O. Levon says, in Refinery 29, part of the identified evil, ? You tell me. Thank you for this. Don't ask a question, make a statement. Camp, and thank you, by the way, camp celebrates the fake, the excessive, and the performative. Very, what's in this, Masonic, as some might say. It was a glorification of deception as an art form. Men in dresses. Mrs. Allen and I saw, we've seen more men in dresses. Remember that? Two. It's just men, and not necessarily, trans men, just men wearing dresses. Men in dresses, women as caricatures. Remember, it's about the destruction of women. When Leah Thomas wanted to invade the women's swimming team. It wasn't. It's basically saying women are not required. Men are. What is it? Patricentric? I don't know what you want to call it. Women are caricatures. Everything exaggerated to the point of parody. Camp says nothing is sacred. Nothing is real. Nothing is usual. Tradition is over with. Sound familiar? We're not done yet. 2020. 2020 was canceled because of what? The pandemic, the scamdemic, the COVID lockdown. What was the undertone? The pause in the ritual. Very, very strangely symbolic. The Gala vanished during the shutdown. It was a collective reset. As the world entered forced lockdown, the high priests of, fashion went dark. Some believe this was a spiritual pause, a reset, a marking point in the elite's timeline, a time zero for the Great Reset. Nothing is done without claiming it. More of this. Does this help you? 2021. This was called In America, a lexicon of fashion. This was the next one. What was the occult message? What was it? Rewriting national identity, history, semiotic, symbological or symbolic warfare. This wasn't about celebrating America. Never. It was about redefining it, rewriting it, rewiring it, twisting it, distorting it. It was an alphabet of woke symbols and rewriting the cultural DNA of the nation. You see, this is important. The lexicon part gave it away. What do they do? What do these people do? This goes back. This is dystopian. This is classic Eric Blair or George Orwell. Language manipulation. Language manipulation is the key to mind control. Control the language, control the meme, control the idea, control the word. You might call it slang. Oh, no. Words no longer mean what they used to. Gay, woke. Isn't it funny how people like, we'll take something like fake news was originally a leftist term, and now Trump took it. In 2022, ready for this? The theme was In America, an anthology of fashion. What's wrong with that? What was the message? Simple. Myth making, historical, again, revisionism. What Tolstoy said, history would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. It was the follow-up to the lexicon. This year they rewrote history. They turned the Met into a temple of revisionism. And everybody looked to get almost like the marching orders. They canonized certain narratives and erased others. Fashion is always used as propaganda. Sacred American stories deconstructed, reshaped, removed, ablated, because he who controls the past controls the future. Now remember, you're going to see Lady Gaga walking around there. You're not going to be thinking about this, trust me. How about 2023? Oh, this is just interesting. Karl Lagerfeld, A Line of Beauty. What could be the big deal with that? What was the message? Idolatry, worship of the creative God. That's their Jesus. That's their God. That's their Allah. That's their Yeshua, right? This was the year they canonized Karl. The theme revolved around the designer himself, turning him into some quasi-deity. His line, as in his sketches and creations, was like the sacred text. Celebrities dress not in homage, but in this almost like a near religious, adoration. He was their God. It was a modern golden calf moment. Remember, always shifting the narrative. Last year, okay, this is easy. I'll give you one. Sleeping Beauties. This was a theme. Sleeping Beauties, reawakening fashion. You ready? This is my favorite word. Well, one of them. Necromancy. Talking to the dead. Resurrection. Enchanted slumber. Snow White. The witch. The apple. I mean, all this. This one was darkly poetic. One of the themes they said was it celebrated dormant fashion pieces, clothes preserved like corpses in a crypt or a vault or something. The language was telling sleeping beauties being reawakened. That's resurrection talk. This is ritualistic. Again, necromantic. Okay? Like breathing life into the past with the cult energy or whatever it is. You have to know how these people think. And yes, more veils, more masks. And now this year, 2025, the theme tonight is Met Gala 2025 theme. Let's see if you can do the math on this one. It is called Superfine, Tailoring the Black Style, okay? Tailoring Black Style. The theme is inspired by the work of Monica Miller, a professor at Barnard College, in her book, Slaves to Fashion, Black Dandyism, and the Styling of Black Diasporic Identity. Oh, that's good. You know, dandy is another word. Dandy, if you look at it, if you look at Pitti Uomo in Venice, you see this kind of this Italian in this Milan look. So what do you think this means? What do you think it means? Okay. Let's think about this. They're going to be saying that this is, of course, nothing but a wonderful resurrection and a final countenance, and a tipping a hat to black nonsense. There's one thing that everyone wants to do. Remember, the targeted group of all of this, white, Western, or European, the elimination of that which is considered white, Western European, heterogeneity, overtaking, well, some people say homogeneity. Now, when you tell people, do not tell people this. Do not. Remember when, I don't know if you're still seeing it, but remember where every time you turned on any TV ad or spot, what was it? It was, for sure, every year, every time, the biracial family, the biracial. Normally, I don't know if it was biracial, pretty much hetero family, I guess. But there wasn't anything, there wasn't any commercial where you did not see a white couple. Never. I don't know if it's gotten better or different. I don't know what it was. But remember, culture reflects the rules. And culture is that which means this is what you were raised into thinking. So let me just think about that. So to our good friends, to MRO Levon, Edie Crowley, Cut Up Chatter, you were superb with your depth today. Pilgrim Media, we thank you. And thank you for your, this is so critical. So I've got a video coming up with that. I've got others as well. Watch that. And also, we never got around, but Ashley Babbitt, why this is so important and why the left hates her. She is our George Floyd, not out of disrespect, but they lionized George Floyd, who basically died of an overdose and who was a thug and a criminal. Ashley Babbitt did nothing to deserve what happened. And this Capitol Police Lieutenant Byrd has been kept from the public eye. And maybe in this $30 million suit, maybe they've agreed on some, I guess you'd call it some settlement in theory. So we'll maintain that. In any event, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much. Remember, make sure you are subscribed to LionelNation, because sometimes I'm finding out people have had their subscriptions undone. In any event, have a great and a glorious day. And until later on, my friends, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.